Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes of Fa'idah. And once again, our invitation and our welcoming is for all YouTubers upon the Sunnah and YouTubers who have strayed or may be unaware or ignorant of the Sunnah. You're all invited. In today's episode, we want to talk about one of the things that every single Muslim must know about, and must believe in, and must embrace wholeheartedly. And those four things are what we call in Arabic maratib al-qada'i wal-qadar, or maratib al-qadar. It's translated to mean the levels of the qadar. The four levels in which the believer believes in and understands in the pre-decree and divine destiny that Allah Azza wa Jal has made. So there are four levels. The first of those four levels is that which we call ilmuhu ta'ala bil ashya'i qabla kawniha. The first is Allah's knowledge of those things before they exist. Number two, kitabatuhu laha, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wrote down those things. It's the second level. Number three, mashi'atuhu laha, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wills for those things to take place and for those things to happen. The fourth and final level is khalquhu laha, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He creates them. So to recap things briefly, we said that there are four levels. The first is knowledge, the second is recording, the third is the will for those things to happen and take place, and the fourth level is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. In other words, there isn't anything that happens in the world in which we live of good, evil, belief or disbelief, obedience or disobedience, someone being brought into this world, someone's soul and life being taken, a baby being born, an elderly person dying in his or her sleep. Every single thing that happens in the world that we live in, Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows about that thing. He doesn't know about the thing after it happens like us. We hear about it, we see it, we read it in the news, somebody tells us about those things. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows about those things before they take place. Before it happens. Before any of the slaves hear of them. Before the angels receive the orders and the commands to take this person's life, to give life, breathe life into this woman's womb, so on and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows about it. So that's the first level. And the believer, or the person who does not believe in Allah's knowledge of everything that takes place, he is not a believer and he or she is not a Muslim. Number two, not only does he know of these things, subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he recorded them. He wrote them down. He put them in a clear register, as it clearly states in the Quran al-Kareem. So, to make things easy for the malaika, the angels, to be just and to show His justice to His slaves, He writes these things down. Everything that's going to happen, everything that's going to take place, nothing occurs except that Allah knows about it and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written it down. This is the second level of the pre-decree. And there's a clear relation between the first and the second level. Whereas He wrote them down, He knew them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows them, but He is in no need of writing them down, but He writes them down. Level number three is that which we call al-mashi'a, is the will for those things to take place. Somebody may say, well, we know that Allah knew of this. We know that Allah wrote it down and recorded it. However, it's impossible for Allah to will for this thing to happen. This person die in this tragedy, and this woman become raped and murdered, and these people to starve and to die and to suffer, and so on and so forth. We say no. Allah willed for those things to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that He loves them. It doesn't necessarily mean that He's pleased with them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's permissible, but He allowed it to happen subhanahu wa ta'ala for a wisdom. Whether we know about that wisdom, whether we discover that wisdom, or whether we're unaware and ignorant of that wisdom, we believe in it wholeheartedly. As for that which happens of good, of deen, of iman, then Allah loves that thing and He also willed for it to happen. But the disbelief of the disbelievers, the oppression, sin, and tyranny of the slaves, Allah does not love those things. He's not pleased with those things, but He allowed it to happen and allowed it to take place for wisdoms that He knows of, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fourth and final level is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. Everything that happens, everything that takes place, of deeds, of actions, of righteousness, of wickedness, Allah created those things. He made them. He allowed them to happen. And it's similar to the third level. It doesn't necessarily mean that He's pleased with them and He loves them and is legislated, but He created them. Everything that takes place in this world, the Muslim believes Allah Azza wa Jal has created it, of good and of bad. These are the 4 levels of Al-Qadr, and they are supported by many ample verses in the Quran al-Kareem, in the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Until the next episode of 5 Minutes of Faidah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.